Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
We're diving into, well, what looks like a massively volatile final round of the Rugby Championship. Specifically, how it could just throw the World Rugby top 10 rankings into complete chaos.
Yeah, it's properly high stakes this weekend.
So our mission today, really, is to get into the nitty-gritty, the actual score permutations. What needs to happen for those big shifts right at the top? Because this isn't just about who wins the TRC title, is it?
Not at all. This is very much setting the stage for the 2027 Rugby World Cup draw. It's got huge implications.
Okay, so if you love digging into this kind of high drama, the real mechanics of World Rugby, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Get more content from Rugby Obsession. Right, let's jump in.
So you've got these two massive games, Argentina versus South Africa, Australia versus New Zealand. But the ripple effect goes way beyond just the championship points.
Let's unpack that. Why is this weekend the sort of absolute flashpoint? It feels like the last real shot for teams to move the needle before the November internationals, right? They tend to cement things.
That's exactly it. It's the timing and the big so what factor. It's that draw for the 2027 World Cup in Australia. World Rugby just locked in the date, actually.
Oh, yeah. When is it?
December 3rd, 2025. So where you stand in the rankings right now, your points value, it feeds directly into your seeding for that draw.
Ah, okay. So we're talking about those crucial seeding bands. 4 bands, 6 teams each. Getting into band 1 or band 2 makes a massive difference to your pool draw.
A fundamental difference. And that's why the pressure is really cranking up. Think about Argentina sitting there at 6th.
And especially Australia, down in 7th.
Exactly. They are right on the cusp, the absolute edge of that second band. They need to solidify their spot or even better it before November comes and basically locks it all down.
Because dropping into band 3 could mean facing 2 other big guns in your pool.
Potentially, yeah. 2 other Tier 1 nations. It makes the path out of the pool stage significantly harder. So yeah, they're desperate.
Okay, let's get into the maths then. The potential chaos. 2 huge matches. Let's start with match 1. Number 6, Argentina against the number 1 team, South Africa.
And this one is just packed with drama. South Africa, the Springboks, they're top of the world rankings, top of the TRC table. But the risk here is huge.
Especially because the gap at the top is so tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Between South Africa, Ireland, and New Zealand.
Incredibly narrow. And we know how the ranking system works. It really punishes the top team if they lose, particularly if it's a big loss.
Right. That specific more than 15 points margin keeps coming up. Why is that the magic number? What does it actually do in the calculations?
Okay, so that's where the system really kicks in to reflect dominance, or, I guess, a shock result. World Rugby's formula transfers points based on the ranking difference and the result.
Standard stuff.
Yeah, but if the loss is by more than 15 points, the points exchange basically gets amplified. It's like a multiplier kicks in, doubling the impact.
Okay. So a heavy defeat means a much faster, much more significant shift in the rankings. It stops things getting too static.
Gotcha. That really explains the potential for a sudden drop. So how bad could it actually get for the books this weekend?
Well, the worst case scenario is genuinely traumatic. They could fall from number 1 all the way down to 3rd.
Wow. From 1 to 3 in one weekend.
Yeah. But it needs 2 specific things to happen. First, they have to lose to Argentina by more than 15 points.
Okay.
And second, New Zealand has to beat Australia, also by more than 15 points. Both big margins have to occur.
Right. So Ireland, sitting there at number 2, they don't automatically jump to number 1 if the Books just lose heavily.
Not necessarily. The specific way Ireland gets to number 1 is slightly different. It needs that big Springbok loss by more than 15. And the Bledisloe Cup match, Australia versus New Zealand, has to end in a draw.
Okay, that's specific. It is. Because Ireland are just behind South Africa, that specific combination, box lose big, the other game drawn gives Ireland just enough points from the exchange to sneak past.
Fascinating. Okay, flip side. What if the Springboks do the business? A convincing win.
If they win, and win well again, by more than 15 points, they really cement their top spot. They could stretch their lead over Ireland to almost 2.7 ranking points.
That's significant breathing room heading into November.
Huge breathing room for Rassie Erasmus and his team.
And what about Argentina in all this? They're technically the home team, even playing in London.
For Los Pumas, a win keeps them solidly in 6th. Crucial for that band 2 seeding. But if they lose, especially if they lose badly, and Australia managed to beat New Zealand,
then they swap.
They swap places. Wallabies jump to 6th, Pumas drop to 7th, so the pressure is definitely on Argentina to secure that seeding spot.
Okay, let's pivot to match 2 then. Number 7, Australia taking on number 3, New Zealand in Perth. Now, the All Blacks, they've already got the Bledisloe Cup locked away again.
Yep, that's secure. But they're still hunting the TRC title. And maybe more importantly for this chat, they've got their eyes on that number 2 world ranking.
But there's risk for them too, right? It's not all upside.
Oh, considerable risk. Scott Robertson's side, if they were to, say, have a shocker and lose to the Wallabies by more than 15 points, they could slide down as far as 5th in the world.
5th? Wow. Behind France and England.
Exactly. That would be a pretty big setback given their recent form.
So what's the target for them? What do they need to do to climb?
Ambition-wise, they want that second spot, leapfrog Ireland. But again, it needs a dominant performance. They'd have to beat the Wallabies by 15 points or more to generate that kind of point swing.
So they need a big win, and probably need South Africa to stumble a bit too.
That's the combination they'll be hoping for.
Okay, makes sense. Right, we absolutely want to know what you think listening in. Who are you backing this weekend? Who needs the win more for that RWC 2027 seeding? Let us know in the comments or wherever you engage, and make sure you have subscribed to Rugby Obsession so you don't miss updates when these rankings inevitably get shaken up.
Definitely let us know.
So back to the Wallabies. They're 7th. We know they want 6th. But what's their downside risk? Could they plummet like the All Blacks potentially could?
Actually, good news for Australia on that front, relatively speaking. Their position is pretty stable below them. Even if they lose heavily at home, they can't drop below 7th this weekend.
Ah, okay. So teams like Scotland, Fiji, they're too far behind in points.
Exactly. The gap is too large for them to be overtaken in one round. So for the Wallabies, it's purely about the upside. Beat the All Blacks, hope Argentina lose, and reclaim that 6th spot before November.
Okay, let's just quickly ground ourselves again. The current top 5, just so everyone's clear. 1, South Africa. 2, Ireland. 3, New Zealand. 4, France. 5, England. And those top 3 are really bunched up.
Super tight, which is why those plus-minus 15-point scenarios aren't just abstract maths. In really physical test matches like these, those margins are absolutely possible, likely even.
Yeah, definitely.
And you see how this ranking pressure connects to what's happening inside the teams, right? The mentality, the coaching strategies.
How so?
Well, you look at the Springboks. Rassie Erasmus's camp, they talk about chasing the perfect game. They maintain there hasn't been a dramatic tactical shift. It's all about relentless consistency to stay at number 1.
Okay, striving for perfection.
Yeah.
But consistency is tough. What about New Zealand? They seem to be dealing with a different kind of pressure, maybe.
It looks that way. Scott Robertson's recent selections, particularly in the back row, well, they've been called rather confusing in some reports.
Yeah, I saw that.
It suggests, maybe some internal debate, external pressure forcing constant tinkering, even while they're ranked highly. It's a different approach to the Box's perceived consistency.
So one side aiming for sustained perfection, the other maybe embracing a bit more. Calculated chaos in selection.
Perhaps. And look, that pressure cooker environment clearly works in some ways. We're hearing about rising stars, like an All Blacks rookie being described as Artie Savea in a younger man's body.
High praise indeed.
It is, and it shows that system, even with the scrutiny, is still producing that top-tier talent. Coaches are pushing buttons, trying combinations.
Which brings us to a really interesting point. We've got this external drama, the rankings, the TRC title. We've got internal team pressures, selections, tactics. But then there's this whole other layer, isn't there? The structural stuff World Rugby is dealing with.
Yeah, and you see that bubbling up constantly. Alongside all this ranking talk, you've got recurring discussions about referee inconsistencies. Former players weighing in, World Rugby making statements about protecting officials. That's always there in the background.
And the law trials, that's a big one right now.
Exactly. You've got the URC deciding to adopt the, well, let's face it, controversial 20-minute red card trial for the next season, 2025-26.
Right in the middle of all this high-stakes ranking jostling.
It shows this fundamental tension, doesn't it? Fierce competition for points on the field, while the administrators are actively trialing changes to the very rules of engagement.
What a mix. Okay, so just to wrap our heads around it, this final TRC weekend is huge for the RWC 2027 draw landscape. Winning the TRC doesn't even guarantee you hold on to your ranking. South Africa could lift the trophy and still end up 3rd if things go badly wrong for them against Argentina.
It's that volatile. And it leaves us with a pretty interesting thought, I think, for you listening to mull over. You've got all this immediate chaos, points, positions, World Cup seeding. But then you have this constant background hum about referee protection, major law trials like the 20-minute red card. What does that focus tell us about World Rugby's deeper, maybe longer-term priorities compared to the short-term ranking battle? Is the biggest challenge facing the sport right now the internal stuff, the structure, the laws, officiating, or is it simply about the week-to-week performance on the field? Where does the real battle lie?
That's a great question. Really makes you think about the balance between managing the game's rules and integrity versus just, well, the results and rankings table. The complexity of keeping a top spot while the ground rules might be shifting underneath you.
Precisely.
Lots to consider there. Well, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the ranking chaos and the bigger picture, please don't forget to subscribe to Rugby Obsession wherever you get your podcasts.
Please do.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we will look forward to you listening to our next episode.